All right, everyone, there are Clintons and rumors of Clintons. The Dem field is so weak, is so appallingly bad, that there are people now, mainline Democrats, we're not talking people that are far left or wonky or have a track record of weird shit going on, claiming that they want Hillary Clinton to jump into the race. I'll tell you what'll happen if in a 1 in a million chance that Hillary Clinton gets in. Like, she's actually nuts enough to do that. She's going to fall flat. She'll never rise beyond third or maybe a distant second. She's not going to be in the top tier of the field. The problem is Clinton would have the same problem as Biden. If you are a name recognition corporate candidate, you need to have a commanding position. You need to be at least near the front of the pack in order to chip away at the first states. Like Trump, he came in second in Iowa, rises up, beats everyone in New Hampshire, and the rest is history. He wins 3 of the first 4 states. The writing at that point's on the wall. If he had come in second or third in those first 4 states, even if he would have some delegates, he'd have some clout, he'd be near the top of the field, he would have had to drop out after Super Tuesday because he probably wouldn't have swept the states very well. Ted Cruz would be president right now, maybe. Which, by the way, would be a disaster. I mean, at that point, it'd be like, flip a coin on who to vote for or don't even bother. I wouldn't have backed Ted Cruz, not even against Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't have voted for him even to stop her because he's so shitty. The Dem field, though, is exceptionally weak. And so despite the fact that Clinton would never get any traction, I mean, third time's not a charm. People have gotten over the Clintons at this point. Bill is no longer very popular. He couldn't be a surrogate at all. How the hell is she going to get any support? Most of the people that could support her have already decided to back Biden or Warren, and in a handful of cases, other candidates. She'd be, coming from behind very late in the game. She doesn't have a lot of charisma. At this point, probably wouldn't have nearly as much cash as some of the other candidates. She'd be fucked. That being said, I can understand the sentiment. I can understand why some Democrats would have malaise about the current crop of candidates. I can give you a laundry list. I could sit here and I could do a 2-hour special on the weaknesses of each Democrat that's still in the race. Then I could add in like Gillibrand and people like that have already dropped out and said bye-bye. Let's start at the top. At this point, that's Elizabeth Warren, by the way, not Joe Biden. Elizabeth Warren, I'm going to be making a video today. She also lied about having been kicked out of, I guess, a teaching position because of getting pregnant. That never happened, as evidenced by things she said in the past before she became a vapid opportunist. So she's a chronic liar. She's got several major lies that she's groomed an image of herself for the public that's not real. Like, I was an oppressed woman, but I rose above it. Well, that never happened. I'm Native American, which she's not. She's made an image of herself as a grassroots candidate, too. The only reason she's not currently holding a bunch of Goldman Sachs fundraisers is because she has enough money rolled over from her very corporatized Senate career, her Senate campaign. $10-15 million worth? So yeah, she can run a more bare bones budget. She figured as long as she does that, she'll get early support. Once she has the fans, she won't need the corporate cash as much, and she can wait till the general to start sucking off Goldman again. That's basically what it is, and she's successfully done that. So she's a chronic liar. She's also, as I've pointed out, in a debate, she will freeze like a deer in the headlights. I'm warning the Democrats. You may think she's okay at speaking. I see through her. I'm telling you, as someone who has studied linguistics, as someone who has studied politics and political history and does this for a living, when I watch her, I see someone who is very much scripted. And when something deviates from what she's used to, what she's expecting, she is not going to perform well. You would be better off, I'm going to say this, you're not going to believe me in a million years, you'll get to see it for yourself if you put her before Trump. Biden would be a better choice. As I would rather have Biden as a debate partner against like a Trump-Pence thing than have Elizabeth Warren with me. Honestly, in a million years, I would never choose her. She'd arguably be the worst. Best would be Buttigieg. I'll go down through the list. So that's Elizabeth Warren's problems. I can understand she's no Clinton. People have compared her to Hillary Clinton. She's the better version of Hillary Clinton in some ways, but as far as her debating skills, very much inferior. Probably inferior when it comes to fundraising, because some of those corporate CEOs are probably delusional enough to believe the propaganda of other corporate CEOs that she's actually going to crack down on Wall Street, so they won't open their wallets to her. They're not in the know. Most of the second-tier businesses won't back her. They'll flock to the Republicans. They'll give Trump so much money. Can you imagine if Trump had actually outraised and outspent Hillary and not come from like a 4-1 deal in the 2016 election? It wouldn't have even been close. If he had actually been running those ads for the soccer mom demographic, the 40 and 50 somethings, he would have won the popular vote probably. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he would have been quite easy actually to flip a bunch of votes if that had been the case. But instead, I mean, all I saw on TV was Hillary Clinton, how wonderful she is and how terrible Trump is and how he's an evil, sexist human being. Imagine if it had been more balanced. By the way, Vermont and New Hampshire on the same cable for many purposes. So we see ads from northern New York as well. Like, I think I saw Gillibrand ads, ironically enough. Probably see him again. Vote for Shaheen. Yeah, it's really funny. Now we've got Biden. Biden's weaknesses are obvious. Physical weaknesses. He's a sick old man. He's got early stage dementia. So that's enough said about that. And then he's got the Ukraine thing. That's definitely hammering away at his support because it makes him look bad. The Democrats in attacking Trump on Ukraine are very much knowingly, I don't think they give a fuck about this. They are knowingly attacking Biden as well. He's collateral damage in their Ukraine witch hunt. And it's very funny to see because it's probably going to continue at least through the early primaries, which means Biden's screwed. He's probably done. Then you have Sanders. I would be surprised if Sanders maintains third place for another month. I'd be surprised because he's had a heart attack. They came out and said, well, he had chest pain, so he had surgery. And they pretended it was a minor thing. As an afterthought, on a Friday, basically, they said, oh, by the way, it was a heart attack, yeah. When a 78-year-old man has a heart attack that requires emergency surgery, that's not a good sign for their health. In his case, it's not a mental problem like with Biden. He's perfectly coherent. If he's a little bit more boring and hoarse than he was last time around, but he's doing all right. The problem is this. Health concerns matter. If Trump were to have a heart attack, don't you think that would become major national news and people would be starting to talk about President Pence or how Trump should not run again? Of course they would. Why aren't they applying the same logic to Bernie? He's 7 years older than Trump is or something like that. 6 or 7 years. I would think that would make a difference. Yeah, there's a big difference between someone who's in their early 70s and someone who's almost 80 as far as their likely long-term ability to maintain their health. Bernie Sanders, by all accounts, is a rather healthy man. I don't think he's had any other major health complications in his life. That's to his credit, definitely. But again, do the American voters want to take that chance and have the Democrats? Do you want to take a chance on getting Bernie in there and having a one-termer because he dies in office? You better be sure that he chooses a good VP. That's the other problem. If Bernie were to become your nominee, his choice of VP would be, because he's old and has had a heart attack and such, he would have to be very careful because if he chooses someone, normally he'd choose someone who's more towards the center, maybe a female individual, probably definitely younger because there's no one older, in order to appease maybe the more center-left crowd. He can't do that, though. He'd piss off his own fans. They'd be saying that it was part of some conspiracy. Oh, well, they give Bernie Sanders the presidency that they owed him for schlonging him last time around to get his endorsement for Clinton, and then he dies in office because they know that he's old. And then they get their first female president who will be a corporate Democrat, and they'll basically shelf him while he's in there, but he gets to call himself president for a while. By the way, that wouldn't be beyond the DNC to design such a thing. So he's weak because of his now health problems and the fact that he's called himself a socialist. Then you have Buttigieg. He's in fourth place now. He's the least weak of all of the Democratic candidates, but they just won't take him seriously because he refuses to say, I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm here to stay. The fact that he refuses to come out draped in a rainbow flag pisses the Democrats off almost as much as the fact that he says he believes in Jesus. So it's no party for Pete Buttigieg. He's your strongest candidate. He's young, he's well-spoken, he's good at he has landed attacks on Trump before. He's the only one who's seriously done that more than once. You people are crazy for not nominating Buttigieg. You're nuts. Absolutely nuts for not taking him seriously. They act like the fact that he doesn't have political experience is a bad thing. Trump had none. Obama was a barely one-term senator. Some of the major political characters of modern times have been people with very limited political experience. You got to start somewhere. Being the mayor of South Bend is arguably more important than anything Obama ever did with his career. And he's younger. And he's willing to go on the attack. Having somebody who's willing to be antagonistic and do the Twitter insult game is probably a good thing. You think any of the three so-called frontrunners, being all in their 70s, are willing to do that? Bernie Sanders has claimed outright he doesn't delve into that kind of politics. That's why he's boring. And then you have little old Kamala Harris. Well, she's not even taken seriously in her own home state, so I wouldn't worry too much about her. That rounds out the top of the field. Then you have people like Beto. He's not viable. Cory Booker, he's had his chance. He's not viable. Tulsi Gabbard would be, a decent choice, but she's way down the field. Isn't she in ninth now? Klobuchar is ahead of her now. President Klobuchar, something never uttered by anybody. Since her first press conference, which was heavily about climate change in the middle of a blinding snowstorm. What great optics these Democrats have. I'm not surprised, therefore, that there are plenty of Democrats who are clamoring for Hillary Clinton to come and save them. Hillary can't save you. Hillary would do worse this time around than last time around. If you think that there was malaise within the Democratic Party last time, imagine the reaction of every Bernie Sanders fan, 15-20% of the party. Imagine how they would react. They would feel so insulted, I doubt that a majority of them would vote for Hillary. I don't think she'll get in. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, H.A. Goodman, if he sees this, he's going to have a great time. He's going to be licking his YouTube play button at some point. Yes, I told you so. It'd be a bit like Tim Pool when they started hashtag Civil War there because of a New York Times article or something, the Wall Street Journal. I just don't think it's going to happen. And she's old too. She's only a little bit younger than Trump by like a few months, not even, I think, a year. And age is a big thing in these races at this point. People are like, well, you're trying to wine and dine the young voters, but all of your main candidates are extremely old. The only ones that aren't, Kamala Harris, who's no longer viable, she will not win. She's not capable of it. And Buttigieg, he's in his 30s. That's great. He's definitely young. He's arguably a little bit too young. But he refuses to play the Democrats' primary game. He refuses to swing way out into wedge issue land. He's willing to go far left economically, but he's like, well, I'm gay, but why should you give a shit? Vote for me for other reasons. He refuses to play the primary shuffle. The primary shuffle is you go way far out to the left to get the fringe voters, then you snap back to the center. The internet is preventing that, in part, number one. And the fact is that there are people who have gone so far left within the Democratic field, like a Kamala or a Warren at this point, or a Bernie Sanders, that it's very difficult for anyone else to get any oxygen. They're strangulating everyone else in the field. I'm having a great time. I think this election is better than 2016 already. I can't wait till Trump really comes out swinging. Once the Democrats are winnowed down to a few people running, he's going to have a field day. He's going to run the field, and it's going to be hilarious. And it'll probably be Elizabeth Warren he squares off against. No wonder you want Hillary Clinton to come save you. They wish Obama could run again. Yeah, at least he'd be qualified. He'd do better than any of these people, any of these morons. That's about all. Peace out.